Greetings. This is Elder Black Light. The topic is who will survive or who will win the war of Armageddon. Now, it looks bleak for the black man here in America. We're trapped behind enemy lines, and he's picking us off one at a time, and he's always letting us know that he's large and in charge, which strikes fear, using terrorist tactics on our brothers here in America, our sisters too. She thought she was exempt. But let me remind you, brothers and sisters, now, I got the Bible. Let me remind you of the story of, that's in the Bible, of David and Goliath. The enemy were many. And they had this giant. I think the Philistines had this giant. We're going to use this king on the frosty side. And we're going to use this pond here. You see, the king is way bigger than the pond, right? Goliath is the big dude. And David is the small cat. But if you don't never read the story of David and Goliath, this is where times like this is when it applies to when the Bible applies to modern times. Yeah. When you talk or communicate, you got to always speak in the past, present, and future tense. David had a slingshot, if you don't know the story, and knocked out the giant, killed him, chopped his head off. So it don't matter how big your enemy is, he knocked him off with a simple slingshot and a stone. So in the Quran it speaks as the stone was a smooth stone, the truth. Truth is a weapon in a mental war. Truth is a weapon. That's why you got these young brothers like that went over to the enemy, like Pharaoh, Seti. They might not, and Polite, Sinetta, they may not realize that they went over to the enemy, but they went over to the enemy. You know. And for this paper right here. Now he could have told him he was gonna pay him, or you just set them up so they can get paid, because YouTube will pay you if you got plenty numbers, and then they conning the people out their money. They say Omar Johnson kind of the people. So I don't know about him, but they say he supposed to get a school for. But the people, y'all always look for that one guy, to save you. We don't have time enough to build a school or to get one of these schools that's already here, although we could work on one of these abandoned school buildings. But we got to come together now. Now, you got to, y'all mothers and fathers are the first teachers. Homeschooling. A lot of Caucasians is doing homeschooling. Now let me tell you where the deception come in at if you think that the Caucasian is on your side because of this government that's falling apart. This government was never designed for the black man or the Indian or the Mexican or any people of color to run and operate this. It never was designed for that. So the Caucasian, like the militia and the patriots and the preppers and the solvent brothers or solvent Caucasian, we got some solvent brothers too that want to play that solvent game. It's never designed for y'all. So this Constitution don't count right now. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring back the Constitution, but the Constitution has been compromised. And they're trying to say that, their forefathers wasn't down for slavery. Your forefathers was down for slavery. And you're trying to get back to that when the Constitution ruled. But don't forget, your forefathers, I'm talking about to the militia and the patriots, your forefathers had slaves when they wrote up the Constitution. And then when Dred Scott went to the Supreme Court to try to be a citizen, they told him a black man can never be a citizen. So that ends that right there for the black people. But y'all keep trying to be citizens. And the brown people coming over here from Mexican, they keep trying to be citizens. And they building a wall let y'all know that y'all not going to be citizens. See, how this whole thing work is the powerful people of each nation, each country, they all together. They pay off the dope man to keep you in line. The dope man got to have somebody to feed off of too. So, they play hide and go seek with the cops. With the cops, because the cops know who's selling dope, who the dope man is. They know about them gangs and stuff. They could wipe them gangs out anytime they want to. But they need them to distract you from being, they know that half of everybody on the planet have a scary nature, have fear in their heart. And there's only a few brothers that have heart, brothers and sisters that will fight back. There's only a few. They know this because they have been applying this psychology to us, brainwashing us, dumbing us down to the point that we have no respect for ourselves. And on top of that, we scared too. I know this for a fact. There's only few black people to fight back. And these cats on the YouTube, they're not talking like me because they scared. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, this is a Caucasian reporter was interviewing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he said that, do you think there'll be a race war? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, yeah, it's going to be one. So he said, that's why I want you, we want to separate, because this is the war of Armageddon. It's going to be the last war. The race, it's a race war, but we don't call the black man is not a race. He's the original man. He's not a race. The Caucasian is the race. What is a race? What's the definition of a race? A race means you run a race. You got a beginning and you got an end. You got a starting and you got a finish. So the Caucasian got to start and he got to finish. And he's running this race because he know he's at the end of his rope. And his time is running out. And he want to take as many black people with him as he can. So that's why he got nuclear weapons. He'll kill himself and everybody else with him. You done seen stories on the news where a guy kill his wife, murder his children, and then blow himself away. Black people never used to do that, but they done start doing it now because we're following after the Caucasian. So we in this war. It's a mental war, a spiritual war, and it's a physical war now because they patrolling the streets. That's how you know you're in martial law. You in the first phase of martial law, the soft phase. See, United States right now is fighting on all fronts, and they spreading themselves thin. So they're fighting each other. They're having a civil war. They're having a civil war right now. You got Texas fighting the Union. You still got the Civil War going on. Plus they all over in fighting everywhere, And they got allies, that's really not loyal to them no more because they know that dollar's running thin. So we got some things to look forward to. We still got some hope, black man, black woman. We still can win this. Just stay glued to the tube and sleep tight. And don't never let them police dog bite. This is Black Light.